welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and unfortunately, Neima cannot be with us tonight. She is having some sound issues, and she's actually very annoyed about it to the point where she's probably gonna stab her soundboard. But if I'm on and there's a show still happening, then that must mean I am with someone. And tonight is no exception. Joining me is a woman on a spiritual journey and one who is helping others grow spiritually as well. Not to mention, she's willing to drop a few knowledge bombs on us about, you could say ETs and fairies and a few other magical things. So please welcome Luna Ra Starshine. Luna, welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
So, Luna, how are you today?
I am spectacular. I'm in Miami, enjoying the weather and the beach and art and all the magic here.
Do you do magic by chance?
I believe I do. I believe I do for sure. I believe manifestation and different processes are a form of magic.
Okay.
Our words are that we speak are magic.
No, I agree with you. I do know that you've actually been doing a 30-day manifestation challenge, right?
That's right. I have been doing a challenge. I'm on day 10, and so far, so good.
All right, that's what matters. Well, I think one of the hardest things with that is to stay consistent. And
hmm
I think that it's also believing in whatever you're trying to acquire. Like you said, words are powerful, and I'm trying to change how I speak about certain things. And instead of saying, if I get this, it's when I get this, or no, I already have this, it's mine already, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things to break when you're trying to manifest and put that energy out there to get it to return.
Yes, it can be a challenge to really reword your language and create new language because we're programmed from children. We pick up tendencies and we pick up language from the people around us, and a lot of it can be negative self talk to where it's like, oh well, I don't see it in my reality, and that's a theme. So that's what I believe. I don't have it yet, or I'm broke. We don't want to say those types of things anymore. We got to move into affirming our wealth, affirming our health, affirming what you want to come into your existence, even if you don't have the hard evidence yet that it's coming or that it's there.
Yeah, you just have to reach out, grab it. It's yours.
Yeah, believe it.
Oh, the Naruto fans just went nuts. Are you ready to get into it?
I am. I'm ready.
All right, cool. So, first things first, your name. Off air, I said that it's pretty much everything that lights up the sky. Luna, which means moon, Ra, which is the sun god, and then Starshine, that is self explanatory. How did this come about?
Well, this is a really cool story, actually. I mean, when I was a little kid, I played around with the idea of having a different name, like choosing a different name for myself, because this isn't my given birth name,
Hmm.
obviously, but it's a name that was given to me during a meditation, and the meditation was with a sound healer. Her name was Yana, and she was a channel. She was a channel for Atlantis and the Atlanteans and Lemurians. And during this meditation, this was around 6, 7 years ago. Um, and I got these visuals of these Atlantean beings who came to me and surrounded me, and they told me that my name was Luna. And that was cool. Okay. I kind of didn't think much of it after. I just was like, cool, Luna. Okay. Kind of let that slip my mind, honestly. And then, but a couple weeks later, I was strongly, strongly guided to sing during a meditation um, channel. So I channel these frequencies or sounds through me that they just come through sometimes, or I'll be strongly guided like that people need it. And this was one of the first times I was being guided to sing for people during a meditation. And so I sang and channeled, and afterwards there was an angel there. I think he was an angel. I felt like his presence was there to soothe me and calm my nerves because I was really nervous about doing it in front of people. But he took me to the side and asked me, "What is your true name?" And I immediately
Reunited with
said
my
Luna.
art.
And you need to go by Luna. And, after that, I realized that that was the aspect of me that is multidimensional, interdimensional, that is goes beyond our limited third dimensional reality. So me claiming that name, Luna, allowed me to embody this greater version of myself. And then I added Starshine. I think Starshine came right after. It was like, well, what's my last name? Oh, it's Starshine.
Oh,
That was really simple for me. And then I added Ra to my name because, well, that came from a story with a little girl who told me a story about a being that came to her named Lunara. And I was like, well, that really resonates, but I don't think I'm Lunara, but I am Luna Ra because Ra has been coming to me for years, the sun god, the embodiment of the sun, I believe, is the embodiment of God, but I like using the term Ra because it feels good, it feels right. So I included it in my name to kind of harness that power and that energy and make sure I'm in balance of the feminine because the moon is more feminine and then Ra was like the masculine aspect. And then of course Starshine. I want to embody that light and that energy of the sun and the moon and the stars here on earth as I am actually an earthly being. I'm a Taurus, so I feel like I'm already the earth energy, but my name I wanted to really embody those energies. So
oh,
yeah.
okay. And you just said something that made my eyes light up. You're a Taurus?
Mhm.
Oh, nice. I'm a Taurus.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I saw the little Taurus in your logo, so I was like,
yeah.
cool.
So, okay, that's awesome. Yeah. You suck, Neema. You're a
Yeah.
Gemini. So, go Taurus. All right.
I got a Gemini moon.
I am Taurus, Libra, Taurus. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah, as Bonnie says, I don't bend, unfortunately. But all right. So you mentioned Atlanteans. Now, full
Mhm.
disclosure, I've heard many people speak about Atlantis and Atlanteans, and I've heard so many different versions to the point where I don't know if I'm a believer or not. But can you tell me the significance behind Atlanteans and how this came about with them?
Yeah. I guess during this time I was learning about these otherworldly beings and, the idea of Atlantis just really interested me. Um, because it was like this beautiful underwater realm of these beautiful beings, maybe living in some type of coral reef castle, but I imagine it even more, even different than that. Like their materials are different because their vibration was at a different frequency than ours. Like we're in the third dimension. Things are physical, hard. I feel like in ancient times, or before Greece even came into being, before the Greek mythology, there was Atlantis, which was off the coast of Greece underwater. And this place existed, perhaps, on this earth, but sure, it could be a story, but I believe all stories have some truth to them because we live in a multi-dimensional realm where all realities are possible. But even before Atlantis, there was Lumeria, and before that, there was, I believe, Mer is the name. The people of Mer existed, and they were more of a harmonious race of beings. Like there wasn't war or anything like that during this time. They were peaceful beings. They were loving, but they also had advanced abilities like telepathy and telekinesis and so forth, which is why how they were able to create this underwater realm, I imagine. And yeah. Also, they were able to like communicate with the beings underwater. I strongly connect with dolphins, and I'm actually going swimming with dolphins this week, so I'm really excited.
Oh, fun.
Um, yeah, but I always just like connected to that story and that energy, and it's just a beautiful expression or a beautiful world to imagine. So but yeah, there's a lot of information out there on that, and you really kind of have to just dig deep through it and find what resonates with you as truth. Because, of course, a lot of these things are inspired by our imagination or channeled. But like I said, I believe anything is possible, and you know, I believe it's on Spirit Science. There's a YouTube channel called Spirit Science. I believe that's where I first was getting some of this information about the Atlanteans. And what they said was that there were um, other beings that came in and wiped out Atlantis, or Atlantis also might have destroyed itself. But from what I understand, it is no longer in existence.
Now, what's interesting, you said multidimensional beings, and when you were speaking about Atlantis, I caught something there where you kind of hinted that, okay, it might not have physically been here, but what if it was in a type of pocket dimension or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, and then that goes with the time. Like, really, we only have this present moment. We only exist in the now. The past doesn't actually exist, nor does the future. But this present moment, so all time is linear. So you could tap into another dimension, and that dimension, we have access to all realms and all dimensions when we do this inner work, when we're able to meditate and train our focus to be able to travel to these types of realms. I could use my focus and awareness to look within my mind's eye and be able to travel to a space that might be called Atlantis or Lemuria, and I could draw information from those beings and from that place. Because I mean, well, let's face it, we're all embodiment of universal consciousness, God's energy. We could say we're all God. So we have the power to create these realities. And I feel like there's this whole network and stream of thoughts that we have access to. So we can experience those realms, and just to help us draw in new information to create. Because Atlantis very well could be some type of place we create in the future.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting that. It's possible, because are you familiar with Topaz?
Topaz?
Yeah, basically,
I'm not sure.
what it is, it's energy or being that comes into existence due to the power of thought. So I'll use
Mm-hmm.
this guy as an example, the Slender Man. Even though it's a
Mm-hmm.
video game, that's where it came from. So many people believe in it that it has created an actual conscious being and it now exists. Um, so it's almost like with Atlantis, if if it exists and it was destroyed or whatever, then it can still exist again because so many people are putting that thought and energy into it. And it might not be how it was, but that doesn't mean that it can't exist in a different type of way. And I'm wondering, when you said like it could possibly exist in the future, I'm wondering if that's something that's going to happen. People put so much energy into it, our version of Atlantis will exist.
Yeah, exactly. What we focus on, what we draw energy to is what comes into being. That's why, there's more and more and more attention being drawn to extraterrestrials and galactic beings because, people are curious and they want to believe in something bigger than this reality. They want to have that experience of something from another world. So it's fun to believe and imagine, the possibilities with that. And with that, we bring those beings into our existence because I believe a lot of this galactic information and, um, uh, well, I consider myself a commander for the Galactic Federation because I am commanding them into existence to help the human race evolve and expand into a more peaceful and harmonious, intelligent uh, race of beings. So,
Okay, so this is going to lead to two things. The first is, what is a galactic being?
so I that's as you say that I'm like, well, I'm a galactic being, but a galactic being would be perceived maybe as someone who's not from Earth, um, from off planet, and they can appear in all different shapes and sizes because there are, there's probably, well, you think about how many types of species of animals are on the planet. Well, there in just infinite amounts of species that have potential to exist in the universe. And so there's the I will tell you that the different races that I know, I say races of beings, but the different types of beings that are in the Galactic Federation that I'm aware of would be beings such as the Pleiadians, Arcturians, the Lyrans, the Greys. Let's think of some more. Arcturians, I say that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Reptilians, Draconians. Um,
Wait, there's a difference between reptilians and draconians.
yes,
Oh,
slight difference.
okay, I didn't know that. You taught me something new.
Um, I'm drawing a blank, but there are more.
Yeah, oh, it's fine. Don't worry. You said the
those
main
are those are
ones.
some of the main ones that we hear about and that are more common. And as we start to really understand them, then we'll be able to expand. Well, we're just expanding. The whole point of the universe is to expand. So as we expand our consciousness and awareness of these types of beings, then we'll discover more and more. And all of them here are actually here for the benefit of humankind to help us expand.
Okay, and I'm happy you said Arcturian because that leads to the second part. Um, you mentioned that you had some contact with them, right? Well, with to me
I
anyway.
have had,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I have
can
had contact with Arcturians.
what is that like, and who are Arcturians?
So, um, have you heard of Bashar?
Uh, no, I don't think so.
I believe he might be an Arcturian. He's a channel. Well, he's a ET, but he has a couple different channelers that will channel him in, and he offers the humans. He offers us guidance and information. But the Arcturians that I experienced and how I experienced it, this was a couple years ago, and I've had some interaction with them since, but this was the most like dominant time I communicated with them. Was in Sedona, Arizona, and I was in the backyard. My mom was living there at the time, and I was looking out at the horizon at the rocks, and I could see two ships. Um, just hovering. They're smaller ships, and they kind of had some lights flicker, but they were definitely ships because they were just hovering right there. And so they knew I could see them, and I acknowledged them. And then I was standing underneath a telephone pole, and the message that I got was through the telephone cables. They told me they were able to communicate to me more directly because I was under these lines, and these were conduits of for them to stream communication to me. And they just wanted me to be aware of them and to know that they were there for the benefit of mankind, to help stream information to help us with communication. Um, they're more of here for, I feel more for building, like people who will building and technology. They'll help stream information. So I call it like when you get a download or you get an insight, like kind of like an epiphany, or you get like, oh, whoa. No, I believe like Einstein was like a channel like that too. That's how he was able to figure out all those formulas, because he would go into that state of openness to receiving information like this. So basically, they streamed information into my consciousness to help me upgrade my communication with other galactic beings.
Oh, that's pretty heavy.
And yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. I love making contact with ships. I had the last time I had a ship come to me, it was amazing.
Ooh, can
But
can you share some of that with us?
yeah, so this happened, I want to say around 4 or 5 months ago. Um, and I was in Las Vegas, and it was a new moon, and I got the instinct, the inkling to drive out to the desert, to drive out to Red Rock. There's a place called Oak Creek. It's a little trail, and it was night, but I wanted to do. I like to just go out and talk to the stars and talk to nature, because that's what helps me feel clear and connected. And I feel like nature is the best therapist, and our ancestors and star beings are there. So anyway, I went out there to just talk, and basically what I said was, okay, first off, I took my clothes off.
Oh,
I got
okay.
completely naked. I don't know why. I just felt inclined to. I guess just to show that I was vulnerable, right? And I was peaceful. And I started talking to the stars, and I just said, like, I need to know that this information that I'm being given is real, and it's valid. Like, basically, I need some evidence that you're out there, and this, what I've been receiving and telling other people, is true. I need to know that you're here for me, that you exist. And I was saying this, okay, and then I looked down for just a second at, just down at the ground, and then I look up. This huge flash of light lit up the entire area where I was and where I was sitting, and it beamed me basically. I don't know if they took a I felt like they were documenting me, and I was like, "Oh, they got me my naked picture." But they were like just letting me know they were there, and then I saw this huge streak of light. They took off. But they came and they just acknowledged me and gave me that validation that I was asking for. And that was really, really cool, because, other times that I've asked, I haven't always gotten like clear signals, but that was very clear.
Okay.
and very cool.
I mean, that's one way to get it. Never heard someone stripping down and okay. But I am glad you got
Well,
that validation. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things to get because, you know, you see things, you hear things, and yet you still need that just a little bit more just to make sure you're not crazy and
yeah,
you can just say 100% this is real. Like, no one else could believe me, whatever, but I know it's real. Like, that
exactly.
satisfaction. So I totally get that.
Yeah. And since from that, I was guided to bring other people out there and help other people kind of basically raise their vibration or raise their frequency to a level where they could have this kind of communication and interaction, because unfortunately our world is a bit low vibration because of a lot of the content and things that we consume. It tends to keep us low. Um, the way we raise our vibration is through many practices like meditation and breath work and tuning our chakras, energy healing, eating clean foods, eating organic. Um, those kind of things will help us to feel lighter. And I believe we're on this path of ascension, raising the vibration of the entire planet so that it can ascend. Well, I believe actually Mother Gaia, the planet's already ascended. We just got to get the rest of the human race to catch up to fully move up with her. So we're moving into our light bodies and becoming these galactic beings that we project outside of ourselves, but they're actually us just saying, "Hey, you have this much potential. You have this much potential." But you have to do this work to raise your vibration. And so, anyways, I guide people on meditative journeys, and I help people to do that so that they can get some of that communication, because it's really amazing and it feels really good when you're able to receive those kind of downloads and create this kind of relationship with galactic beings, because the possibilities are endless. They want us to expand. They want us to grow. So they're sending us all kinds of downloads and information for new music, new technology. A lot of this new AI technology is going to be coming out in the next few years, and there's a lot of fear around things like 5G and so forth. So we have to be able to send love, vibration into technology, and so that way we're keeping it at the right resonance, and we're moving out of that fear base, like using technology for war and destruction, and using it actually to advance the human race so that we can be limitless. And they want us to they want to stream a lot of this information to us. So I'm an open channel, and I'm open to receive all the information, and I've been receiving some wild things, but but it's exciting because I know it's possible.
Okay, so you already know where this is going. What wild things have you been receiving?
Yeah. So okay, one of the most wild things was I got this download that in the future, or in the now, it's probably already happening on private corporation and government level, because they have access to a lot of this technology, I'm sure. And they're already creating this artificial intelligence. But anyway, I had this being come to me. I saw her pretty clearly. She's a holographic light being, and she's me from the future, is what she told me. And she's about at the age of 12. Like, she's still very much in her youthful, childlike state. She hasn't her her mind hasn't been so programmed. Like, she's still very creative and imaginative, and so much too that she can actually really strongly create her reality with just her thought, or shift her environment with just her thought. But this is my new body in the future. This body won't age. It's a holographic light body. This is technology that we will actually be able to um, we will actually be able to stream our consciousness into our own avatar. Which is funny because we were talking about the digital
Yeah, the virtual
husband
world.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, virtual husband. Yeah, so we'll be able to, and I'm like, we might actually already kind of be those avatars, but we'll be able to select our next life as we become aware of um, what consciousness is and how to use it. We'll be able to stream it into the next body that we want instead of just randomly hopping into the next body to learn lessons, learn karmic lessons and things. It's like, well, I already know that I've reincarnated billions of times or into so many bodies. So now that I'm aware of that, now I get to choose my next life. And I get to choose this avatar body that's limitless.
It almost sounds like a version of the Matrix. I know that's so overused, but it no, like seriously, it almost sounds like a version of the Matrix because they in the movie, not the real world, folks. I'm just talking about the movie. It
Mm-hmm.
almost, they were in, of course, the virtual world, and the real world was jacked. But spoiler alerts for anyone who doesn't know, and they were, for the most part, able to choose their lives. Well, once they were aware of their lives, anyway, and that's kind of what it sounds like to me. Not robots control the world and they're using you like a battery, but just that ability to choose and go about things and all that. Oh, and
Yeah.
Angie has a question for you.
Okay.
Um, Luna, do you know what your past lives were?
Um, yes, not all of them. No, but I will tell you an experience I had. I haven't ever done past life regression or anything like that, but I did once. I was in Sedona and I went to a sound healing. And now what's interesting, well, which I'll explain it this way. I went to a sound healing with this guy, Three Trees, who is an amazing sound healer. I'll shout him out because every time I've gone to his sound healings, I've gotten incredible visuals, like almost like I'm on a freaking some kind of psychedelic trip, but it's all because of sound. And the sound has helped me to really open my third eye. But anyway, during this one specific journey, I went through my past lives and I actually, okay, this is crazy, but I actually went back in time to when I was a dinosaur.
Really?
I was a velociraptor. And what was weird was that day I held a baby velociraptor egg in my hands because I was at a crystal shop and there were kids freaking out over this velociraptor egg because, like, Jurassic Park had probably just came out or something. And I thought it was really cool, but in this vision, I saw myself as a velociraptor, like from the perspective. I had that perspective of being a velociraptor. And then from there, I actually turned into a dragon, ascended into a dragon. And then I fell to and then I became ash, and then I rose, and then I started the like humanoid process. But I was actually an ape first, like a gorilla, and then I saw myself as a shaman, like a tribal shaman, um, and yeah. And then as far as like real recent past lives, that was pretty ancient. I don't recall that much on Earth, but I have off planet flashes where I'll see things like from other realities. So I don't know if my soul just like hops around and comes back to Earth on occasion and then goes into other dimensions, but that was my experience. But from my feel or understanding is that our cells hold memory, and our cells are passed on to us from generations all the way back to the beginning of time, and some humans, I believe that some humans were actually placed here on the earth, or some beings were, they didn't actually naturally evolve from the earth, while some did. So there's different genetics and different DNA and different cellular memories out there, but we're all past those memories down. So I hold the memory of my mother's, I hold the memory of my grandmother, great grandmother, and father and beyond. So I actually can tap into those memories. And as I do that healing work, that inner work to heal my own cells, raise my vibration, I'm actually doing that for my entire lineage.
Wow, that's gonna take some time. That's
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I see it as kind of a requirement in order to evolve.
that is actually a type of psychology, genetic memory. And it was years ago when I read about it. And yeah, the theory was that you can actually carry memories down from whoever's in your family line, and it's just tapping into it, unlocking it. That could be the issue, but it's in your genetic code. But I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if that works not just on a physical level, but a spiritual level as well, which that would probably be even more complicated. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling to myself at this point. Um,
No, it's good. Yeah, it's on all levels,
okay,
spiritual and physical, for sure.
so that's very interesting, and thank you for the question, Angie. Um, Now I want to go back to the Velociraptor real quick.
Okay.
I just out of curiosity, what did that feel like? Like just in that
Really
perspective.
powerful. It definitely felt really powerful and really cool. Like my energy was just like through the roof, it's like in a static state. Like I had the power of, well, the power of the universe within me, but um, laser focus, super clear focus, just like, but constantly like on the move. Like there was no stopping and chilling. Really, it was like predator, full on predator mode.
Full on predator mode. Like, yeah, try and stop me now. I got you. What do they
Yeah,
say in Jurassic Park? Clever girl.
yeah,
So,
which I do love those movies. So you could say that I was just influenced by my outer reality, but I also had some, thinking about it, I also had some weird dinosaur dreams as a kid, like a lot of dinosaur dreams
well, like you
as
said,
a kid.
anything is possible, and
Yeah.
that one's a possibility. It's an interesting one. It's different, because everyone they not everyone, I won't say that, but quite a few people when they talk about their past lives and stuff, they believe that they were an Egyptian or pharaoh, emperor. It's like, what do you really think
Yeah.
you were, like come on, chances of you being something that high and mighty. Not saying it's impossible, but the probability is pretty low. You know,
Well, yeah. Yeah. Eh, I don't know, but I do know a guy. I just met a guy recently who's coming out with a show on Netflix. I believe it's going to come out next year. It's something about reincarnation though, and he was given this download about, like, what if we knew, like, what if you knew the soul that was gonna be reincarnated next, like when they're being born, like which soul it was, like whose body it just left, and like this world where there's this whole system where who's incarnated next. So that should be pretty interesting. But like there's only so many souls on the earth at one time. Like
but I mean, I think
we're just recycled.
it's supposed to be like 7 billion people here, so that's a lot, all things
Yeah, it
considered.
is a lot. It definitely is.
Now, I do want to go to this because I saw this on your YouTube page, and this is something that really piqued my interest for various reasons. I might say one or two, or none at all. But fairies.
Yeah.
Okay, so Do you have some sort of connection with fairies? And if so, what is it?
I do, and this connection actually started as a child, where, of course, like intrigued by this idea, this magical world of little people and little beings flying through the air. And I always loved the idea of fairies and connecting with fairies when I was a child by connecting to nature and listening to nature and the needs of the plants and the animals. Um, and then as I got older, not as much connection, but I still would draw fairies and I still collected them um, as a teenager and so forth. And then, went through the whole party and drug phase, lost touch with them. But then after I had my spiritual awakening, well, I call it my awakening in 2012 with the magical mushroom, who helped me to see the truth of our reality. That connected me back to the fairy realm. And I actually, uh, my mother actually really supported me on the. Sorry, my siren's coming. My mom actually really supported me with the fairy thing because she believed in it as well and would take me into nature a lot, and we would just play around with calling in fairies and calling in for fairy magic and asking fairies to assist in certain ways. So I started just really working with that energy because I found it to be really healing and helped to get back to the inner child and reconnect with nature. And I did. I used to dress up like a fairy and do fairy tarot and oracle readings and just offer that gift of light and magic to people and kind of get the heartstrings stirring and make people feel the warm and fuzzy because of the elemental and fairy realm, which is nature and just connects us to that. But fairies exist all over the world. Um, and they are available. They will make themselves seen. I have seen them, and I do have a picture of me with one flying over my head, actually. They will make themselves seen if you communicate with them and if you're willing to take care of nature. Like if you go out into nature and you just honor that realm and say, I know you exist, or I want to believe in you. I believe in you. So I'm here to assist with taking care of nature, and maybe you clean up some trash or something, and then ask them for a photo or um, ask for some type of communication. And if your heart's really open to it, most likely you'll receive some type of communication from them. It's really cool, and they're definitely here to just take care of the planet, take care of the animals and the plants that are here. For my belief, and I also believe there are fairies on other planets as well.
Now, so this is going to lead into something else, but are you familiar with pixies?
Yes.
Okay, so are there
Oh,
differences between pixies and fairies?
yes, yeah, and there are different types of fairies as well. There's
Okay.
a whole different realm of elementals. Um, and I recommend Brian Froward, who created the art for like the labyrinth and the dark crystal and so on. He actually was very much in contact with the fairy realm, and a lot of his illustrations were like downloads directly from nature, and they're actually really good depictions of fairies and pixies. But pixies, they're generally more mischievous. They're the ones that might, you know, bite you in the ass or get you stung by a bee or hide your keys from you or something like that. So you don't want to piss them off for
Okay.
sure. If you mess with nature, like if you do something like harmful or destructive, you're more likely to become a victim to the wrath of the pixie. They're more deviant, yeah.
Are you able to pick up on the various energies from nature spirits in general, or it has to be a specific one, or how does that work?
Typically, yes, I'm able to read what type of being. Now I see a lot of tree fairies and tree spirits. When you go out, just sit and look closer at the trees and at the faces on the trees and within the leaves, because those are the elementals that are showing up. There's also like elementals in our home, like brownies and there's also, what do you call them? Like, I just want to say like dust mites, but there's also like when your house is dirty or cluttered, and you don't clean certain corners of the house, it invites these kind of lower energy elementals into the house, and they can cause disturbances in the home and kind of lower the vibration and maybe make things go missing or make clutter even worse. So that's why it's important to keep a nice, clean home so you're not inviting those energies in.
Okay, memo to self: dust. No, like I terrible at dusting. I will forget, but okay. I will recall that. All right. So
Yeah,
normally I would.
there's a whole ton.
Oh, say it again.
There's just a whole bunch of different types of elementals, and there's a lot of books out there that you can check out and learn more about all of them, because there's elementals for each element, for uh, fire, earth, air, water.
One of the reasons I bring this up is, and normally I would not put someone on the spot, but I do kind of want to see if you could pick up on something. I actually
Okay.
do have one thing that is around me from time to time, probably most
Mm-hmm.
of the time, and she happens to be one of my spirit guides. And I was wondering if you could pick up on her.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting you
Well,
on the spot. I'm sorry. I'm a jerk for doing that. I openly admit.
no, that's okay. I love being put on the spot. Um, what I felt initially is I feel it in my heart, and it's a very light. For at first, it was a very angelic energy. Um, like you just have this beautiful white flowing angel, but then I also feel that she actually is more also a fae, angelic fairy of the fae realm. But yeah, I can feel her. Um, let's see if she wants me to tell you anything.
Now, that is
Mm,
interesting for two reasons, and I am going to share them in a bit.
okay. Hmm. It seems to be that she's been brought around you because of your interest in mystic arts and sometimes dark arts, or sometimes like darker realm. And she's there to protect you and guard you. And she's right around your heart.
Now, that is interesting. Okay, so the her name is Daisy, or at least that's what I think her name is, or that's
Hmm.
what we're calling her right now.
That sounds
And
right.
and she is supposed to be a pixie,
Hmm.
and she is a very energetic thing.
Mm. And how does she show up? Like,
I have no idea. You see, that's the problem. I am a fairly oblivious person at times, and I've been told, like, Melvin, open up more, stop being a prick, which is difficult for me to
mhm.
do. But the wow, this dog is just yipping.
Oh, I see. I see.
Um, the time when she popped up, I believe I was trying to meditate, and I remember literally seeing the outline of a little thing and a flower, and it was a daisy, and I remember hearing Pixie.
from what I'm getting is that okay, she has these two sides, which is she does have this pixie side, but she is actually an angel. Um, more of a fairy angel, so more of a protector. Like she's assigned to you to protect you, and she's assigned to you to help protect your heart, which that's where the pixie deviant side can come in sometimes, where it's more of a intenser energy of the prick, like you said. That's where she might prick others or um, that sensation, but she's actually very much there to keep your heart safe and to help you in any way you request. You can ask her to bring you love in any way, and she's happy to assist you in that way.
So, okay, that is very interesting. Now, here's the other thing. this this one this one got me. So, I actually I'm not 100% certain, but well, no, I excuse me, I take that back because I had to talk about this. I am 100% certain one of the other beings, and you really caught me off guard when you said, huh, angel or energy, something like that. Um, his name is Raphael, and he is indeed an angel. And he's an eight winged angel, and
Mm-hmm.
is a very he makes his presence known when he pops up. Like it's not because he's a show off or nothing. That's just how he is. And I've seen him. I know what he looks like. He kind of looks a little bit like Colonel Sanders. No joke. He looks like Colonel Sanders. And he he is nothing but white light. Like he dresses in white. His hair is white. He's
Mm-hmm.
pale white. His eyes are very intense. That's the thing I remember most. His eyes. And he yeah, he's not one to mess with. Which is very interesting you said that. Like that totally got me. So that's
Well, we uh, beings that operate in other dimensions also, they just like people, we can shift from one. I can be really light and flowy, but if you piss me off, then I might not come off that way. And so we have to remember that about see that about these higher other beings from I don't want to say they're higher, but they're just at other operating at other dimensions, or at other levels of consciousness. Um,
yeah, I just like
and
saying they've been around.
and that's amazing that that you have him in your awareness, because we can call on these beings on our team to assist us in any way we need. It's like I feel a lot of people would really benefit from just knowing that they're not alone and not feeling crazy for talking to somebody that's not physically there, right? Because that's always like, oh, you're talking to yourself, you're crazy, but you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to your galactic squad of angels or fairies, and when you actually listen or take the time to communicate, they can really assist you in healing your life on many levels, and and attracting and bringing in the things into your life and your world that you want. They're there to assist. So you're not crazy, you're not insane for believing in a being that you can't physically see, but if you see them in your mind's eye, then, well, there's no harm in believing.
Yeah, I mean everyone believes in something, right? And I mean, heck, even if you believe in nothing, you choose to believe in nothing, buddy. So even then, you believe in it.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
nothing is still something.
So get you on that technicality. Okay. I want to talk about this for a second. You've mentioned in several of your videos vibrations and getting them up there. You even mentioned low vibrational energies here and all that. What are vibrations? Like, I hear this so much. It's like, what are vibrations?
Well, I believe everything is emitting a sound, um, a frequency. It's holding some type of frequency. I mean, you can measure everything, and it's emitting some type of vibration. Even if you don't actually hear it, it's still vibrating. Um, and you can measure the vibration of different objects, and the unseen. That I feel like that may be how those ghost detectors work. Um, is it'll measure the frequency or the vibration going on in the room. For example, I know humans, like our hertz, the vibration that we're at is like around, the average is like around 67 or something like that. I recently read this information. Don't quote me on it. Do your own research, but I believe it's around 67. And then I was comparing it to, I was looking into the vibration of roses, where roses actually vibrate at like 320 hertz or something. So quite a bit more. So when we surround ourselves with roses, or that floral energy, it can help us to clear our own energy field and raise our energy field. The same with like, that's why we work with people work with crystals and things like that.
Yeah, you work with
Because
crystals, right?
yeah, I do. I have one in my hand right now, actually.
Oh, right on. What type of crystal are you holding?
My friend just gave it to me. It's like a jet black crystal. It's like a little obsidian piece.
Okay. Angie, Angie K. Got to give her a shout out. She's the one who does the background stuff and the Instagrams and Facebooks, Reddit. She actually got me clear quartz, and it was very nice of her. And it's right next to me right now, actually.
So now with clear quartz, I definitely recommend like regularly cleansing your quartz with sage or vibration. Vibration would be you sing to it, or you wash it in water, or use singing bowls. Like a lot of people like to use singing bowls to cleanse it, cleanse the auric field of it, because it picks up energy.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm actually using that to somewhat help me with sending out the good vibes and energy and all that stuff. So I have to be very careful with my moods when I'm touching it and holding on. So,
Just know if you're working with it and you had a bad day, like probably want to give it a nice cleanse at the end
okay,
of the day.
I will do that. Um,
Well, hopefully it just brings you all good days.
so okay, so what else do you work with?
um, well, I feel like we're still talking about sound, so I work with sound um, a lot because it's so powerful. Everything is light and sound. And so I use my voice to raise my own frequency and the frequency of others around me. Like I mentioned in the earlier story about when I channeled, I will sing different tones, and I think that's one of my most powerful tools, honestly. But with that, I'll work with sound healing bowls, tuning forks. I do know Reiki. I always consider myself an energy healer before I knew Reiki because I was working with sound. But yeah, I practice energy healing. Any other tools I use? Art. I use art for manifesting and creating, and dance.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned both of those things. I'll get to the dancing in a second, but the art, Now that's interesting because you know how the saints speak it into existence. Is the art something like that when it comes to manifesting? Like you're literally making a physical representation of what it is you're trying to obtain or put out or surround yourself with?
Yeah, yeah, that's one aspect of using it. I did. I'm going to bring this up just because I did forget to mention. I also work with Oracle and Tarot cards. I consider myself an Oracle because I can read these cards, but also the world around me. But so with art, um, yeah, like I'm sure you've heard about vision boarding and that sort of thing. We can set intention and collage and sculpt kind of what we want our reality to look like using images. And then we focus on those images, and it's more likely that you attract them because you're already focused on them. And that's your dominant focus, that's your dominant vibration. So you're bringing that vibration in so that way it can come into the physical. But not only can we use art like that to create a reality, but we can use it for personal inquiry. Like, if we need to know something about ourselves or we want to get to the root of who we are, or maybe we want to um, bring something about in us, or maybe we want to change in some way or transform our life. I'm versed in a practice called soul art. And with this process, I do this method called body mapping. And we'll literally do a tracing of the body and start this dialogue, this inquiry with the body. So that way the body can actually begin to communicate through art. And the end result, after you complete this process, will be this beautiful piece of art that you've created, but also it's a message for you. It's your personal oracle, and it has information for you about yourself and your questions. Um, and I believe even when art isn't created like that with intention, there's still messages there for the viewer, for the creator, but also for a viewer. Even if you're viewing someone else's art, you can find some type of language in there, some type of message that wants to be seen.
Now that is unique. This is the first time I ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's really really cool and amazing. Like what kind of insights you can get from doing a process like that.
Okay, now the dancing and the music, because I mentioned this off air, like music seems to just be a part of you, and I think you're doing a dancing challenge. Is that right? Oh, and
Yeah,
yeah, take us through this.
yeah, so part of my like 30-day challenge right now is showing up to dance every day and express myself through movement, but also like really embody the life I want. So I'll use kind of a meditation visualization practice while I'm moving and dancing. So that way I can really evoke that feeling in my body. I'm a DJ. I've been DJing about a year now. And so I'm ready to like take that next step of taking my music into the world. Um, I also sing, I mentioned that. So I'm in the process of learning to produce and create my own sounds. Um, but so when I get into that expression of dance and I'm moving, I will visualize myself maybe playing for a large audience or, um, you know, feeling the energy of the crowd or something as if I was already in that role. And now that is vibration. What I say when I mean vibration is when you feel the sensation in your body that feels good, your hair starts to stick up, you feel that euphoric feeling throughout. That's what I want to create and cultivate in my body more and more because I know that's what brings those things into my reality because I've had the results already. I've already created a lot of what I want in my life with these practices, um, especially dance and movement. And dance and movement's been a great way also for me to release stagnant energy.
I said this also to you a couple of times that you just have such a positive energy. I mean, I would hate to see you when you get mad because something tells me woo. But when you're not mad, you have such a positive energy, and it seems like you're trying to share it with everyone and help them be more positive themselves. They're having a rotten day, like, yeah, don't worry about it. Shake your butt. Where does this
Yeah,
come
it's
from?
not that
Where
bad.
where does that energy come from?
Well, it's something I've been working on, actually conditioning my mind and training myself to be in that positive state because, well, I don't want to feel shitty. I mean, I want to feel that feeling of positivity, ecstasy. These are feelings we can cultivate when we choose to. It's also the power of our words, our intention, our focus. I can choose. I have a choice to feel good. I have a choice to be positive. I also have the choice to feel sad and negative. And sometimes I choose that, but then I remind myself, do you really want to feel that way, or do you want to choose a better feeling thought? Abraham Hicks is a big teacher of mine in my early stages of learning to redirect my thought to a just a little bit better feeling. Yesterday was the full moon, and I went through a lot of emotion and release. And, even I get into dark places in my mind sometimes. And it's just a challenge for me to remember that I can focus on something better. So when I do that, when I do get trapped in a lower vibrational thought, or depressed state, or an anxious state, I just remind myself to focus on something I'm grateful for. Like, well, the sun is shining today. You know,
Okay.
that's enough. I can be grateful for that. So that's gratitude journaling. I do that every single day in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I write at least 8 things I'm thankful for, and that has really helped me to be in that positive state. And yeah, of course, I want everyone to be able to feel good because I know what it feels like to not feel good. And just knowing that we have the power to shift is what I want to harness and be really be the master of my mind.
Okay, and we're going to start wrapping up. It's just a couple more things that I'm kind of curious about, and something probably that I would have mentioned if Neema was here, but I totally slipped my mind and then it popped back in. Okay, so first thing is how do you deal with a negative person who shows up? Because, in this field, in life, you always have a moron or someone who just doesn't understand who pops up and says, "Oh, you talk about aliens. You're stupid. They don't exist." Or, you're going to deal with demons and they call you nuts and all that. How do you deal with that?
Well, I don't take anything personally, for one, because everyone's having their own experience. They have the right to see things the way they do, and I have the right to see things the way I do. But I always just surround myself with unconditional love, and I surround them with unconditional love by visualizing that, and just sending that energy out. So that way, I don't take anything that anyone says personally, um, because really it's up to me. Again, like, it's up to me how I choose to react over someone else's reaction. I can choose to be disturbed by it or not. I don't need to force them to see anything the way I see it. That's it's their life. But so I just send them love if they want it, and I kind of just go my own way if we don't see eye to eye.
Well, you know what? That's probably best.
It's not worth my time and energy to argue or go into something that they're just not going to be open to receiving anyway.
Okay. Now, what if they approach you differently and are looking to have a meaningful conversation about it? You know, you can't convince them, and they know they can't convince you, but they're willing to yap. Would you entertain that, or would you just say no?
I mean, if it feels good to me to conversate, and if I can, teach somebody something about my perspective, or help someone in some way, if that's through conversation, then absolutely I'm open. And everyone, I believe everyone has something to teach everyone. We're all here walking each other home, or helping each other expand in this life. We're all interconnected. So anyone that comes to me, um, I see them as a divine being, and I'm open to listening to what they have to say. It doesn't mean I have to believe it or resonate with it, but I at least I'm open to giving them the space, as
Oh,
long as it's clear communication and not crossing my boundaries or anything like
okay. Oh, that makes sense.
that.
Okay, and this will be the final thing. So, uh, Neima, and the only reason I'm saying this is because she put it on that Instagram story thingy majigger. Ugh, I'm bad with technology.
Okay.
But she was telling me, well, telling me, she was telling everyone that she was astral projecting, and
Mhm.
she, I guess she was just wandering around, and she came across a being of some. Wait, first, do you astral project, or are you aware of it?
Mhm. Actually, yeah. Earlier on in my spiritual journey, I started becoming aware of. Well, I became interested in it. I wanted to learn how to do it, and I did do it, and I will do it on occasion. Yeah.
Okay, so she came across a being, and the thing said to her, "Pretty crystal," I think. Don't quote me. I can't remember the exact quotes, but it was something about pretty and crystal. And something felt off, and she said that she felt like this being was feeding off of her. And, she tried to get the heck out of there, wake herself up, and all that. She was aware that she was astral projecting. And she succeeded halfway because when she got herself up, then she was stuck in sleep paralysis, which really sucks. But my question to you is, do you know of ways to protect yourself on that astral realm? And if there are things out there that will feed off of you if you look appetizing enough?
Well, you know, I'll just put it like this: anything that we believe is possible. So, if you're already going into that astral realm with the belief that negative energy exists or negative entities exist that might, uh, you know, want something from you, then yes, you need to practice putting protection shield around yourself before going into the astral realm. I do. I recommend everyone doing it. The other thing is, oh, sorry, I just went up some stairs.
Oh,
The other thing is claiming your sovereignty, claiming your sovereignty as a sovereign being. You only allow uh, interaction that is for your highest good and the highest good of all. Anything that does not respect your sovereignty is not welcome in your field. And you just have to set those clear boundaries, just like you do with people, you know, because we all know there's some people out there that want to just take from you. And it's the same in the spirit realm. There, sure, there are beings that might just want to take your energy. So you have to put up clear boundaries. And what I do is I got to start doing this more, which I listened to the last couple of days because I got sick and I felt like something might have attached itself to me because I didn't have my protection up. So on a daily basis, like in a morning meditation, just surrounding yourself with white light, um, having calling your guides to be with you all day and protect you from any of that energy. If you have certain angels you work with, but the other thing is the Merkaba. Have you heard of a Merkaba?
no, please tell me about this.
Okay. Um, the Merkaba is the six pointed star, like the Star of David.
Mm-hmm.
It's our light body vehicles. It's our ship, and it adds a nice extra layer of protection around us. So before you go into the astral realm, before I go, I imagine myself going into this Merkaba and being fully protected, and only I only enter the realms that are for my highest good and that respect my sovereignty. And I just make those affirmations, and I feel like that does the trick.
Okay, that's good advice, I'd say.
Yeah, just trusting that everything is in your best interest and highest good, and just claiming your sovereignty and that you're protected. Just gotta articulate it. Otherwise, sometimes we allow other energies to come in. The other thing is being way more intentional and mindful when we're consuming any substances, any alcohol or drugs. When we take those in, we're allowing any spirit to enter our body, basically giving them permission to take over or to take our energy. So, if you do choose to consume any type of substances, I like to be, if I'm gonna partake, I'm very clear um, on the experience I want, and that being that energy must respect my sovereignty, and I'm just there to learn or enjoy or expand in whatever way. Um, and saying that before you take it in can really save your ass sometimes.
Noted. So you guys hear that?
you know,
I hope you do.
yeah, just say a nice little prayer, blessing over whatever because we're humans, and we enjoy uh, experimenting and consumption, and I don't feel like we have to feel like that's wrong, but we just need to be more mindful and intentional with it.
And I think that is a good place to end it. But Luna, do you offer teachings on spirituality or guidance or anything like that?
I do. I offer one-on-one coaching, and I have varied topics that I can focus on. Right now, I just kind of started focusing on galactic embodiment coaching, where I will assist you with discovering your life purpose and your galactic lineage. And I will coach you on how to communicate more with other realms, and do all those things like astral travel, and so forth. And I also offer intuitive guidance through reading oracle, um, and so forth. And then you can always watch my Instagram. I'm going to be doing more on there. And then I have a YouTube channel, which I have been off of for a while, but I am back on. So you can always subscribe to my YouTube as well for information.
What is your YouTube and Instagram?
My YouTube is Luna Ra Starshine, and my Instagram is at Luna Starshine.
And those links will be in the description below. Luna, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge and some of your spiritual journeys with us.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to share, and for doing what you guys are doing and helping people realize that you're not alone in the universe.
You hear that, folks? You're not alone. So, if you'd like to keep up with like minded people, be sure to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. With all that said, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.